Meeting to order. Thank you. Could we get a roll call, please?
Yes, President Osborne. President Osborne,
Here.
Vice President Cordova,
Here.
Secretary Hamilton,
Here.
Member Martin,
Here.
Member Egbert.
Thank you all again for coming. Mr. Martin's going to lead us in the pledge and salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of Mexico, to be a symbol of perfect friendship among the United Cultures.
Thank you.
You messed that up.
Okay. The next item on our agenda is to consider approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll
Okay.
second.
We have a motion by Mr. Hamilton, a second by Mr. Cordova. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our next order of business is to consider approval of the minutes from the board work session and the regular board meeting. Does anybody have any additions or corrections to either of those?
No, Madam President.
Okay, then we'll just take them to, okay, thank you.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Ms. Egbert, a second from Mr. Hamilton. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have our consent agenda. Questions, comments?
None for me, ma'am.
None? Please, Ann. Need a motion.
Move that we approve the consent agenda as published.
Okay,
Second.
there's a motion from Mr. Martin, a second from Mr. Hamilton. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Russ, we got to you quickly.
Thank you, Madam President. We'll start by recognizing all of these amazing students around the room. Mr. Brady, did you want to kick us off?
Good evening, Madam President, board members, Superintendent Russ. I'm spreading sunshine. Last month was just so exciting. I had to do it again this month, but we've had some really, really successful years with some of these programs. And so really excited. I'd like to have Miss Jones couldn't be with us, Coach Jones. So we have her assistant coach, Coach Montoya. Would you please come up to the podium if you're with us, please? Yay. And cheerleaders, come up here, please. We want all of you, okay? If she's gonna be on the hot seat, you've got to be on the hot seat. Okay. Thank you. Welcome to the board meeting. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to turn this over to you. Why don't you talk about some of the accomplishments and the things that meant the most to you for this school year, okay?
Yes, yeah,
If you guys want to just come fill this space, then you can face the board and face the audience.
All good. Okay, first of all, these guys work so hard. They're at the gym by 6:50 every morning. Mats are rolled out, we're ready for stretching, and that is just a non-negotiable. They work so hard and they are so very responsible and they manage their time so wisely, and that is a huge accomplishment to Coach Jones. She's really led this team and I'm so proud to be a part of them. This year, let's see, was a really long year. We started our comp season in November and we scored very highest score sheets we've seen in a really long time. Artesia, we placed second, competing against 7 other teams. And then in Lovington, we scored first place for our cheer with music. We were fortunate enough to have a choreographer this year, and these guys just grew tremendously in their stunting. We had great tumblers, brand new additions, and very sad our 9 seniors are leaving us this year, but we're really looking forward to the future of this team. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheerleaders, having been at most of the games, I'm really excited about what you did. You brought it. I loved your stunning. I love the acrobatics, the flipping, even though my head spun off my shoulders a few times. But we do appreciate what you did. We know that cheer is a sport, and congratulations. And we're sad that you're graduating, but we wish you well on your future endeavors. Thanks for coming to the board meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, and then now we have our powerlifting coaches are here, and Helica and I as our head varsity coach for powerlifting, her team, along with her assistant coach, Coach Hitchcock, if you come up here. this is a new sport. I mean, we're in its infancy still. And it's exciting because you see the clink clink and the clang clang going on with some of these guys. This guy right here, when they were getting ready to leave for state, was in the gym and he was warming up with about 225, 250 on the bench, just repping it like this. And then he was curling like 90 pounds like this and easy, jealous, but I don't want to give away any thunder. I'm very proud of this group as well as the cheer, but it's exciting to see what they've done. So I'll turn that over to you.
First of all, I just want to thank y'all for letting us be here today. You know, we appreciate y'all welcoming us here. So I am Coach Anaya and I am the head powerlifting coach.
Mark Hitchcock, I'm the assistant.
Claudia Hernandez, senior.
Jimmy Martinez, senior. Emily Betterly, junior. Kate Coddington, sophomore. Annabelle Adams, senior. Chastity Gully, senior.
I am missing a couple athletes that did make it to state. There was 8 total, and that was Rayana Suniga. She was an 8th grader from Gaddis Middle School. And then I also had Andrew Escobedo. He's going to get mad at me. He's a junior, so we'll have him back next year. And Faith Butterfield, and she was a senior. So those are all that. Oh, and Amira Villanueva. See, that's what happens. Look at here. Look at this. Okay. So overall, we had about 42 athletes participate this year. That's double, almost double from what we started last year. So it was a good year for us. It started out great. We had 4 meets, 2 being here at Clovis. We got to hold one at the new weight room, which we were so excited about that and to show off all our new equipment in front of everybody. So that was exciting. But the second, meet that we had was a little bit bigger, and so we had to move it into one of the gyms, and we had 5 teams there as well too. So overall, our boys we got 2, and they got first for our invitational and Hobbs invitational, and then both teams got from Logan first place as well. So then I want them to kind of go over their accomplishments real quick. Come on, Emily.
So Amira and I took second at state, and then Kate got third, and then several of us broke personal records. I broke the state record in bench press along with my own state record of deadlift. Bench press was 150, deadlift was 330, and I broke that and got 345. And then Amira set the state record in deadlift at 385.
Wow.
I was in the 148 class, and Amira 249 plus.
Anybody else? I was just appreciative too with Miss Jones for letting us have the cheerleaders, some of the cheerleaders. So cheerleaders that are coming back next year, powerlifting. Yeah. FCCLA powerlifting. I'm recruiting. So, and that was great. And Annabelle was in our 97 weight class, and that was, she went out and it was hard. She started off rough, but she ended it, and it was great. It was a good. So.
Mr. Brady, Mr. Cordova said he wanted to challenge you.
He didn't say anything.
He said,
I want to go on record and say they can deadlift about 150 more than I weigh, so I'm putting up a little fight.
But we have several nurses in our audience, so we'll be all right.
So you can do the calculations on that, all right? But it's exciting. So proud of these kids. Again, this is year 2 of having powerlifting. And I'm telling you, we've got some kids coming along that are exceptional. They have amazing coaches, and they have an amazing facility to train in. Thank you, board. Thank you, Ms. Russ, for approving that. And I'm going to tell you, it's impressive, the meat that we put on, because we have to disassemble everything, assemble it with the flooring underneath it in the North Gym of the Rock. And then I want to go on record and say there were a couple of hundred kids in Logan. It wasn't just a small meet. We had a couple of hundred power lifters in that meet from across our region. And so to come back with boys and girls first, that was an accomplishment. I'm very proud of you guys. Thank you. Okay. Coach Tipton and esports. Again, another program that's kind of still in its infancy. but we're really excited about, we brought home 2 blues and a red, I believe. Yes. And it's exciting for us to be able to talk about well, everything that we've talked about right now has been a co-ed sport. So you have men and women participating on these teams. And so it's pretty cool. And I'll set the platform by saying, or the stage, when you go into a competition, they have rules. So you can't talk smack during the meet. And I don't know how they refrain from doing that because they pull off some amazing stuff. And if I was able to do some of the stuff they would do, they'd be ejecting me from the competition. It's amazing. So Coach, I'll turn that over to you.
Hey, thank you for having me back this year. I've brought 4 of my 5 seniors. We have a very young program this year, a lot of juniors through freshmen. But as you can see right here, these 3 gentlemen here, we have Austin, Robert, and Harley. They are our Hearthstone team. Out of the 4 teams that made it to state playoffs, these guys pulled 3rd in the state for this season. And you may notice this giant trophy that Austin has here. That is the Hearthstone Pacific Region Championship Trophy. So everywhere from us to California to Washington State competed in that, and these 3 were able to win that. And also can't forget Appeline here. She has been sort of our jack of all trades for all the Nintendo Switch games. We're going to dearly miss her. And next year, hopefully we will have a lot more power since we're going to have a lot of kids coming up. Like I said, we have a very young group. We have a lot of freshmen being trained, and we're going to miss them. But thank you for having us.
Okay. Thank you very much. So proud of our athletic programs and the wins that we've gotten and the accomplishments. It can't be done without the support from the school board. And I want to make sure that you guys know the fruits of your labors are being seen and felt, and we're excited about the future and what's coming in front of us. Okay. With that, we do have, let me get where I'm at. Coach Pickett, I'm going to turn this over to you.
But not as a coach.
President Osborne, members of the board, Superintendent Russ. Tonight, we have Ms. Tammy Martin, Ms. Lori Riggins, Mr. James Golden, and Mr. Seth Baldock here to talk about choir going to state. Usually when they go to state, I try to not ask how did we do, but this time I asked and we had a couple of wins, so they're going to share that information with you. So come on up.
Good evening, board, Superintendent Russ. We're very excited to share some things that have happened in the choir world recently. We came a couple board meetings ago after our music performance assessments and gave some really great awards or scores and things that we were gaining at the music performance assessment. And that assessment we actually use as a baseline to qualify to be able to sing at the New Mexico Activity Association state choir competition. Choirs have to get a specific score in order to qualify. So we took 4 choirs from our various campuses across the district to compete at state choir this year. And for the high school, under Miss Martin and Miss Senna, they took a women's select choir and a mixed choir. And how it works in the choir world is 1A to 3A mixed choirs, meaning co-ed, boys and girls, they compete together. Then there's a 4A class, a 5A class mixed, a middle school class, and a 1A through 5A treble choir across all high schools. So the mixed choir that came from the high school, the chamber choir competed in 5A mixed, and they came away with 5th place in the state, which was really exciting. They did a really wonderful job representing Clovis there. And Clovis High School also had the opportunity to take the women's select choir who competed 1A to 5A treble choir. And that's always a really big class, and it's a lot of competition. Treble choirs are always much bigger in schools because boys, you know, it's always a fight for us to keep boys, get boys and keep them in choir. And so treble choir, it's always huge and the competition is really big, but women's select went, competed, and they placed this year 3rd place in the state. And that's the first time they've placed since 2019. So that was really exciting. Those girls worked really, really hard, and it was really exciting for them to get up in that top 3 across the treble choir division. And then our middle schools, this year, I took over Yucca a couple of weeks into the school year. And when I got into that class, this class that we took from Yucca, I'd done state a lot. I've been in Portales and Farmington and have gone and competed a lot. And I heard this third period group and I was like, they need to go. They need to go and see what it's like to compete at this level. And for the history of Clovis schools, a middle school choir has never gone and competed at the middle school level. And so I told Miss Martin, I was like, I want to take Yucca to state. Let's go. She's like, okay, all right, let's do it. And so we did, and then Miss Riggins decided, she said, you know what, let's take Gaddis as well. I want to take my kids and let them experience that too. So our two middle schools, Yucca and Gaddis, they competed against, was it 14? I think there was 14 or 15 other middle schools that competed. And Gaddis actually came away with third place, which is huge. I mean, that's wonderful for first time ever going to this competition. That was a huge, huge win. And I mean, we're competing against big schools, big schools, middle schools that have incredible resources and things. And so that was huge that we placed. And the Yucca students, we came away with first place. It was incredibly exciting because I mean, the two of us between first and third, we beat the last year's first place winner who had won the last 3 years in a row. So it was really exciting for these students to get to
8 and 10 points.
Yeah, by 8 points. We beat them a lot. Like we pretty well obliterated them, which was exciting. It was really fun. But allowing these students to have the opportunity to see what it takes, the grit and the determination that it takes to get to this level. And the wonderful thing I think about the music class is it's the fact that 100% of our students participate. You know, it's not the best of the best. It's if you are in this period, you are part of this team. You are here and we are all in this together. And it's so great to get to see them really come together and work, build each other up, push each other, and get to be part of this really, really big, wonderful team that we get to do. And I wanted to see, is Marisol or Addison who's going to talk? Okay, I asked one of them, I put them on the spot. I said, will you just share a little bit about what this means? I mean, it's a very historical thing. It's never happened for a young choir. And the first time to go and to win, like that's big. That's really huge. And I want to hear a little student perspective.
Well, yeah, pretty much what Mr. Golden said. Like, we went against the 3-time state champ. It was our first time going ever, but we pulled it out. I'm pretty sure all of us were like, we're not going to win. We did good, but we're not going to win because, like, we're going against such amazing schools, Gaddis included. But we pulled it out, and all of us were literally screaming for joy whenever they said our name. Yeah.
I lost my shoe running down there.
Yeah, actually did. We had to wait for her for a second.
That's exciting.
But yeah, that pretty much sums it up. We were excited, doubtful, and honestly flabbergasted as a whole. So we're proud of ourselves.
You should be.
It's been a really incredible year for choir, and I know I'm very thankful to be part of such a wonderful team that we have here working with the vocal students here in Clovis. And just thank you for your continued support. Please continue to support us as we work so hard to build and make sure that these things are happening and these students get these opportunities, because music is such an incredibly important part of a student's academic journey. You know, it's huge. It's huge.
We want to thank you also because I was the one who almost didn't get to go to this because of the snowstorm coming in. And I want to thank you so much for allowing us to get out by a certain time and be able to compete. It meant a lot to our kids and they had a wonderful time. And we got out exactly when we were told, with 100% of the ones that were supposed to be going in a matter of 2 hours. So it was fantastic. Jobs let their kids off from work, but that was incredible support for us, for you allowing us to go. And I can't say enough to that. I do have to tell you, I am a mother of kids who graduated from this program and everything. But I got the phone call from Mr. Baldock, and I was in my office at the high school the day before, whenever they went, and I was screaming and crying, literally shedding tears, because I used to teach at Yucca and Gaddis. And so the pride that came through was immense. I mean, I was so happy, and he was one of my students. I've worked with them for so long, and it was just the biggest joy that I could have ever had this year. So I want to also say thank you to all the support you gave all of us and everything that's happened this year. It's been fantastic. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
And next we have Mr. Daniel Perez for Clovis High School Band.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having us out. Just wanted to give you a little bit of an update on the band program since it's been a while since we've been back. Earlier, a few months ago, we traveled to Hobbs for our music performance assessment. And I'm very pleased to say that all of the groups that traveled, all secondary groups, including the top band at Gaddis, the top band at Yucca, the Clovis High School Freshmen, the Clovis High School Concert Band, and of course the Wind Symphony all earned superior ratings, both on stage and in sight reading. And kind of to mention kind of a little bit of what James said, in order to get a superior on stage, you have to receive a score of a 90 or above per judge in order to achieve that rating. So all groups that traveled were able to accomplish that. And I'm going to brag a little bit on the Wind Symphony, the top group as well. On stage, there's 3 judges, and then there's a sight reading judge. On stage, the judges, again, it's out of 100 points total, gave us 97, 99, and a 99. Ooh. And then in sight reading, we also received a 99. So almost at 100. Some judges don't like to give the 100 because, on principle, technically, no performance is ever flawless or ever, there, but we were this close. So very proud of the kids, very proud of the work that they put in this semester. I also have here with me Arcel, my head drum major and first chair flute player in the Wind Symphony, to talk to you a little bit about the trip to San Antonio that we just got back from. We took that trip in lieu of our canceled St. George trip, as you all know. So I want Arcel to talk a little bit about that.
Alrighty. I wanted to first start out by saying thank you for allowing us to have this opportunity to go on this trip to San Antonio. It was really fun, and it allowed many of us to travel somewhere we've never been before. We started out the trip on a long bus ride, and it was not as bad as I thought it would be because I was able to bug Mr. Perez the entire time because I was sitting right behind him. After a good night's sleep, we woke up bright and early for some breakfast and made our way to Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. I don't do roller coasters much, so I called it good after 4 rides and went to get some food. I do recommend the chopped brisket sandwich from the barbecue restaurant in the park. Afterwards, we had the chance to go out and eat at some places on the Riverwalk in our small groups. My group went to this restaurant called the Yard House, and afterwards we walked right along the river back to our hotel. The last day of our trip, we had a nice brunch at the Hard Rock Cafe, and then we performed some fun stand tunes to kick off the Hard Rock Cafe 30th anniversary celebration right in front of the restaurant, which gathered a crowd. After that, we had a nice long bus ride with clear weather. Once again, thank you for allowing us to take this trip and allowing me as a senior to have a nice way to end off my last year in high school. It would be amazing to see everyone here at our Pops All Band Night concert, May 8th, 7 p.m. at the Rock Gymnasium. Thank you very much.
Then last thing I'll say, just kind of looking to the future and looking to next year. We're already, cooking up the next marching show and all that fun stuff. I wanted to let you guys know this past marching season we had, when it was all said and done, about 235 band members in the marching season. As it stands right now, we're projected to have 275 for this coming marching season. I'm really excited about that. Our retention has been really, really good. As well as at our beginning campuses as well. We have over half of Marshall in band projected for this next year, about 260 students there. So the growth is there, the program is healthy. And I'm so honored and so excited and grateful to be a part of that whole situation. And I'll leave you with this. The name of the show for next year is called Infinite Horizons. And it has to do with the American Southwest and kind of the birth of the railroad and a little bit to do with trains. And I'll leave you with that. Thank you so much.
And I'd like to welcome Amy Garcia and FCCLA from the high school to the podium. While she's coming up, I'd like to brag on Amy. Amy's an amazing FCCLA teacher, but for some reason, she can't ever get out of the chapter level. She ends up working at the district regional level and then at the state national level in FCCLA. And her program has been at the gold status for as long as I can remember. And I want you to know this is the little engine that could right here. And she gets it done. So I'm very proud of her and I will turn it over to her.
Thank you for having me today and us. As usual, I do not speak a whole lot because I turn it over to my kids. So, Joaquin.
Hello, Madam President Osborne, Superintendent Russ, and members of the board. My name is Joaquin Sanchez. I am the president of Clovis High School Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. Before we get started, I'd like to go ahead and let all of our members here introduce ourselves.
My name's Annalise Watson, and I'm a junior. So my word of I'm Kimberly Amos, I'm a senior. I'm Miss Ana Loya, I'm a junior. I'm Maya Kuroki, I'm a junior. I'm Aaliyah Valverde, I'm a senior.
So today we'd like to go ahead and give y'all an update on how we've been doing so far in our whole year. We haven't been here in a while, so we'd like to give you an update on everything we've done in the year so far. We have 60 members within our organization, and our 60 members have logged a total of 1,044 hours of community service. We've partnered with several organizations and our city government to help make a difference across our community as a whole. We've additionally logged a total of 1,140 hours of leadership development as we attended conferences, training, and advocated for CTSOs across the state. Our accomplishments this year, starting from July through our present, our participation began with the 2024 FCCLA National Conference, which was held in Seattle, Washington. We had 15 students compete at nationals in 5 different events, including parliamentary procedure, early childhood education, professional presentation, recycle and redesign, and interpersonal communication. Within that, we had bronze, silver, and gold placements. For the first time, our chapter had a top 10 in the nation, with myself placing 5th in interpersonal communications. At our regional competition in Portales this past December, we had 31 competitors, and all 31 competitors qualified to attend our state conference. At our state competition in late February, we had 26 competitors of the 31 who qualified to attend. 16 of those competitors qualified to compete and go to nationals this upcoming July, and that will either be in a STAR event, a on-site skills event, or attending as a state officer. This year, I completed my year as the Vice President of Finance for the state level, and I also ran for re-election, and I am proud to say that I was elected to be state president for FCCLA for this upcoming year. Additionally, our chapter member, Jose Llamas, was elected first vice president for the state. We received various awards at our state competition, including the Community Service Award for our work with the Ronald McDonald House Pop Tabs. This is the 5th straight year in a row we've won it, and this year we collected 86 pounds of pop tabs from across our entire district. We also received the Chapter of Distinction Gold Level Award for the 4th straight year. Every year that the Gold Level Award has been available, we have received it. And lastly, our final and biggest accomplishment for the year was that we won the State Championship Award, and this is our 3rd time in the past 7 years that we have received it. So we thank you guys again, and we do have a handful of goodies for y'all. So thank you guys again for your continued support, and we're so happy and grateful to be able to do what we want to. So thank you guys again.
Thank you.
Because they're way far away. Thank you.
Thank you.
So these kids want to compete some more.
Oh my gosh, I was just thinking that we offer an opportunity for every student to excel in whatever is their interest. It's so exciting. Thank you for all you do.
It is. My next item is the trip request. I don't know if you want to take the first three together. It's our FCCLA from high school along with Gaddis and Yucca to the National Leadership Conference.
I think it would be good to take them together unless anybody's opposed to that. Okay.
Together, good.
All right, so we're talking about items 1, 2, and 3.
I move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Porter, second by Mr. Martin to approve the FCCLA National Leadership Conference for, let me see, Close High School, Gaddis, and Yucca.
Orlando, Florida.
Yes, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, you're going to Orlando.
And then we have one more trip request is Miss Sullivan and there you are. Okay. For our Business Professionals of America, this is also to Florida in May, and you have the agenda detailed out, but if you have any questions about this trip, Miss Sullivan is here.
Did anybody have any questions about that trip?
Any questions?
We always appreciate that you guys are mostly about the job, but that you also build in some fun for our kids to have the experience. So thank you, all of you sponsors, for doing that. So any questions about the CHS Business Professionals trip? All right, entertain a motion then.
Move to approve.
A motion by Mr. Martin, a second by Ms. Egbert. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
And I'd like to invite our student representatives up for probably your final update for the year. I mean, you're welcome to keep coming, but the school will be out by our next meeting.
Good evening, President Osborne, Superintendent Russ, and board members. My name is Jayla, and I am currently the Student Body Public Relations Representative for Clovis High School. Today, I would like to give you an update in 2 different areas that our student council has put on. First, starting with our CHS block party. This was an opportunity for our community to come together and have so much fun together. We had many different sports teams and affiliations out there representing and showing our middle schoolers what they have to look forward to here on campus. We had around 600 students and families attend, capturing around 250 signatures for the family engagement aspect. So that was a very big success, especially since it is the first time we have held this event. We had vendors, food trucks, and over 20 organizations that hosted games and activities. It was amazing to see everyone laughing, having fun, and enjoying their night. So that was a very big success. We hope this can be a long-standing tradition in the future, and we believe that it can only get bigger from here. Next up, I'm going to talk about our election process. So we are now conducting our annual elections, which, as you know, we elect our student body level, senior level, junior level, and sophomore and now freshman level to our student council. We conduct these annual elections consisting of a lengthy application process. Right here, I have our senior president, and we have Harley. He's still special. He's important too. And they both went through this process, including a video and a written essay, teacher recommendations, and campaigning. I personally am running for our student body president position and very much hope to get that position. But that is all I have for you this evening. So I thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much.
Okay, earlier this semester, you all voted on our NMSBA Student Achievement Award recipients. So we're going to take the time to introduce them now. Ms. Nigerville will introduce our first.
So we let students who
Oh,
want to
sure.
go, if there are students and families who would like to depart, it's a good little break.
President Osborne, members of the board and Superintendent Russ, it is my pleasure this evening to introduce to you one of our recipients of the NMSBA Excellence in Student Achievement Award, Ms. Catherine Sakani. Catherine, if you join me. So Catherine earned her bachelor's degree from Rocky Mountain College in Montana, earned her master's degree from Walden University. Catherine is a level 3 teacher and has been with CMS since 2004. After many years in the classroom, Catherine became one of the district's reading specialists during the 2021-2022 school year, and she served as our lead for that team of dynamos. In her role as the lead reading specialist, Catherine worked directly with teachers at multiple sites and multiple grade levels to foster greater understanding of the information presented in the state's required letters training. She put this into practice through modeling and coaching, as well as collaborative planning sessions. She also led her team in presenting after-school workshops for teachers on a variety of topics that were requested directly from our teachers. Catherine also became a certified letters trainer for the state, providing in-person professional development to all of our CMS teachers in grades K through 5 over the past many years. She's also completing her work to become a certified structured literacy dyslexia interventionist. That accurate? Okay. There were a lot of other words in that description that I didn't understand, so I didn't include them. Even after Catherine returned to the kindergarten classroom this year, she has continued to serve as our letters facilitator and coach. She brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to new generations of teachers. And we hear from teachers quite often really how beneficial it is for them to see this work in action, to receive support directly from Catherine. In addition to providing training and support to her colleagues, Catherine has taken an important role in our curriculum development for the K-2 Foundations component of our English Language Arts curriculum, integrating multiple resources and best practices into a functional document that outlines all of the expectations for early reading instruction for our littlest wildcats. And this has become a key resource for teachers as they work to understand how all of the components of reading and writing fit together as part of an instructional model. Catherine, it is not an exaggeration to say that a great majority of CMS students have benefited either directly or indirectly from your expertise. You have invested your time and your effort into the teachers of this district who have in turn become better teachers under your guidance. And all of the students in CMS owe a debt of gratitude to Catherine, as do we. And we are so pleased to be able to recognize her this evening. Congratulations.
I just want to say thank you to the district for giving me this opportunity to work with so many amazing teachers through teaching letters. I've formed so many friendships and so many colleague relationships with them. And I love that everything that I'm able to pass on to them, they're able to pass on to their students and to make those gains with their students. So thank you very much.
I get to champion Donna Tibbetts. And she is certainly deserving of the award that she's receiving tonight from the school board. I met Donna Tibbetts in my days at Marshall Middle School. She came to me having left leaving Elida, and she reminded me of a question I asked her in our interview. She's like, do you remember what you asked? I went, no, help me remember. And she's like, what can you do that would be amazing for our kids? And her response was, well, I'm leaving the position I'm in right now, having a cohort of students that scored above
3/10 behind Los Alamos.
3/10 behind Los Alamos. I want you're hired. We'll take you. And have not regretted that hire at middle school. She was a team leader. She was leader for our math cohort. When you looked at what we did for our 7th and 8th graders at that time in math, the alignment that took place, the extra help, and she is not afraid to ask. And when she comes with an ask, it comes with dollar bills. And the first time she came to me, she's like, Jay, I need graphing calculators for my students. And I was like, how many do you need? She said, well, I need 30. How much are they? At that time, they were about $120, $125 each. And managing the school budget, I was like, are you kidding? And she's like, no, let me show you what I can do. And she had a system to be able to train kids on how to use those graphing calculators to solve complicated algebra equations. And when you see 8th graders come out and they're able to have the confidence and then the success that they did, we were way above the state average at Marshall when we tested. And she was a big part of the reason and what we did with our math cohort that helped us be recognized nationally as a middle school. And so it's exciting for me to see her as she's evolved in her position. Most recently, we hired her to teach virtually. Again, that came with a big ask as we were looking. Mr. Strickland and I recruited her. And she said, well, I need this, this, and this. And that equated to about $10,000 worth of equipment for her to stay at home and be able to teach virtually our kids. Donna's taught everything but calculus. And to my knowledge, you haven't taught calculus. She has taught every math known to man except for calculus. Exactly. And done that at a high level. Personally, my daughter was nearing proficiency going in as a math student. When she left Donna and her superior help, my daughter was able to graduate because she exceeded standards when she looked at her testing. So I know what she's done at a home level as well as a professional level, and it's exciting to see what she's done for kids. Most recently, she's moved to that next level, just like Miss Caney. She's been mentoring math teachers in the middle school. My last time to visit with Donna, she was at the 6th grade campus. She was in classrooms working with them. She records lessons. She shares those out of how to teach those standards, things that they need to be looking for, ways that they can correct errors. And she is truly a coach at a very high level, developing our math program in our 6th grade academy. And it's been amazing to watch her do that. I cannot begin to tell you how happy I am to be able to recognize Donna. The award's not enough to say thank you, but Donna, we appreciate all of your years of experience, and we thank you for the success that we've had as a district with your support. She told me all the time that teaching kids is like pushing a rope. It's very hard. And if you've ever tried to push a rope, you can't do it. And so she had lots of little sayings, but Donna, I'll let you.
I really feel like this belongs to the teachers. I told you not to make me cry. I love what I do. I love kids. I love teaching. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to come back and do it this way because I'm tired of driving.
Thank you.
Sorry, Sarah. Next we have Ms.
I'm just gonna start going in the open forum. Good evening, President, Superintendent, board members. Mine's short and sweet today. Just want to remind everybody we're doing back to school. I can't believe I want to say that already. Our back to school bash will be July 26th. So let's mark those on the calendars. I'll be sending all the information to Miss Gina, who I love to work with. She's been phenomenal. And then I just want to say thank you so much for allowing so many kids to go to the STEM event. I know we wanted so many more to come. I'm glad we were able to do 2 days because overall between Portales, Clovis, and Clovis Christian, we got 1,297 students through and 107 educators. So it was a huge success for the 2 days. The kids had so much fun. Really didn't give them a bathroom break. We had so much to do. So we kind of scheduled them every single minute of the day. And if they missed things, that was fine. And I just told teachers, I'm like, just go back to it. So, but there was just so many units that wanted to do so many things. So there wasn't enough time in the day for them to see everything. But we really appreciate it. It was so much fun to have them. So look forward to planning it again next year.
It was a great experience for kids.
Thank you.
Okay, my last item, Brennan, if you want to just pop open the memorandum of understanding. Last month, we brought to you our MOU with the city for our school resource officer. And so I just wanted to let you know that that had been approved by the city commission and it's been signed now by Mayor Morris. So I just wanted to bring that back to you. It did not need to be a consideration item. We don't have any financial obligation in this at this point, but I just did want to let you know that had been taken care of. And so that leads to the next item. Now that we do have regular availability of an officer, we are going to put into place random screening using our metal pass-through detector. And so the document that you see should also have referenced policy J3400. I did pop that into your informational folder as well. So this process aligns with the three policies 2300, 3400, and 6400. We are implementing this protocol as part of our ongoing commitment to increasing safety and security measures in the district. This is a very proactive step that we're taking that will use our mobile advanced screening technology. These will be unannounced weapon screenings at our secondary campuses. This really came as a result of handling a threat in January at the freshman campus. We had lots of appreciation expressed by our staff that we implemented this technology to return to learning that day, and we've not had another situation since. I think it really sent a message of we're going to take these things seriously and we're not going to tolerate it, and we're going to make sure we're safe before we resume learning. So the way that this will now work, classrooms will be randomly selected using neutral software that will not have any identifying student information. Law enforcement officers will be present to support this process. And as we did in January, if we were need to use it to deal with a credible threat, we would deploy it then as well. So the protocol that you see here clearly outlines the process that we would use if we happen to have a student who refuses, the process of notifying parents, removing that student from campus, and then the conditions for them to return. Again, this is all guided by existing board policy. There's been thoughtfulness applied to creating a protocol that would be respectful to students, families, staff, and everything will be thoroughly documented in case we need to return to what was collected during any implementation of this protocol. And again, we just want to continue to raise the bar on creating a safe and secure environment. We have a press release prepared to notify the public tomorrow, but wanted to bring it to you first. We have folks in the audience that can answer any additional questions that you might have, but I'm really excited to bring this to our secondary campuses and just raise that feeling of safety and security and be proactive and use this as a deterrent as well.
I think it will, and I think it deters them if the point of calling in something was to get out of school when they don't get that reinforcement, then
right,
and truly they keep having terrible situations at school. So whatever we can do to prevent that.
Exactly. This is just another layer on the front side. So it's nothing to approve. We just wanted to notify the board ahead of notifying the public and staff tomorrow.
Well, it seems ideal to me because it's not intrusive. It's just, walking through a screening. So
yes,
I just don't know how we could make it
And we're all used to doing
more passive. And
you go through an airport or anything else, you're walking through them, so.
the library.
Yep.
Right.
Thank you for implementing.
You're welcome. If there are no further questions, that's all that I have.
Okay. Academic updates and snack updates.
Good evening, Superintendent Russ, President Osborne, and members of the board. I don't have any trophies or confetti or banners. Aw. But I am here to proudly present two grants for our district as part of our funding package that will be headed to the state. The first grant package that you have is for the Title I grant application. The purpose of Title I is to provide all students a significant opportunity to receive a fair, equitable, and high-quality education, and to close educational achievement gaps by allocating federal funds for education programs and services. So with that frame of reference, our Title I grant allocation for the 26 school year will be $2,191,789. $2,191 with us, and that is approximately a $300,000 reduction from our previous years. This deduction is due to our decline in student enrollment. Because of the NOVA tracking system, we were allocated money in the past based on a figure that was a couple of years old. And so this year it's catching up with us, and they have that system up and running and totally validated now. So because of that, we saw a decrease. In this funding package that was for your review, 65% of our federal grant money will go directly to the school sites. And the school sites, that is a discretionary fund for them that they utilize with conjunction with their parents to decide how that funding is spent. In the past, the school sites fund their student or their family services team with that money. That is a social worker and a community health worker. We have 5 social workers, 4 community health workers in this package, and those are split among the schools in the district that are Title I. Your only 3 schools that are not Title I are Berry Mesa and Zia. So all of the schools receive this funding except for those 3 schools. Some other things that they purchase with this is our elementary schools purchase a intervention educational assistant to help with those intervention blocks. They have family engagement liaisons to help organize family and community events that are addressing the dual capacity framework that is put together with Karen Mapp's training. And then they have discretionary funding that they use for professional development, supplemental curriculum, and supplemental technology. 13% of our grant goes for the LCARS department itself. That includes the program office staff to implement the grants and to collect the data, some supplies and materials, some district professional development comes with that funding. 5% of the grant will go to our bilingual SEAL and our bilingual data coordinator. 3% of the fund supports our migrant and immigrant program liaison. And then the additional program funding goes for a lot of the program cost of our family services team. So it covers any of the McKinney-Vento and the foster services care, our transportation for any at-risk student that needs transportation to school and doesn't qualify for the busing. It pays for the fuel, the insurance, the outreach efforts, professional development, and the notary fees of that team. And the last part of that grant, there's a district indirect cost. This year that's higher. The state sets that for us, and it's automatically in the grant application, and that's roughly 7% of the grant. So in addition to the 2.1 million, we are also appropriating in this grant application approximately $400,000 of carryover funding. And the carryover funding is due to our strategic braiding of funds this year for our summer school program. So we collaborated with Curry County, our CMS Sports Youth Program, and the New Mexico Summer School Reading Program. And because all of those sources, we braided their fundings together, Title is just having to cover a bridge STEM program and the transportation cost. And that left us at about an additional $300,000 that we weren't expecting. That 300,000 we are allocating to 2 middle safe and healthy school coordinators. The transportation costs for the 25-26 summer school program, and our Center for Biliteracy consultant that we've been working with the last 5 years. So that is your Title I grant application this year, and I stand for any questions.
Sounds reasonable to me. It's complicated grant, so thank you for.
Well, we're thankful to have it, and we keep watching, you know, all of the changes that's happening at the federal government. But we feel really good about and secure about this funding source.
No. Anything else? And it's just a discussion item, so.
Yes.
Thank you.
The second grant does require your signature, Mrs. Osborne, after the board meeting. So don't forget to do that.
I will not. I forget. Gina will remind me.
Okay. The Title III grant funding is a grant that is designed to improve the education of our English learners. And it is a program that ensures that they attain English proficiency to meet the challenging state academic standards. This is a supplemental grant to districts and states to support ELs and their families to meet those academic challenges. This year, the 25-26 award to Clovis Schools is $99,861. This is approximately $6,000 less than we had the previous school year. The Title III grant is a very strict grant. It can only be used for 3 particular goals. And it's just a grant that's not that easy to spend because of the limitations of the funding. Last year, we worked with the State Department to put together a English Learner Instructional Initiative Director so that we could have that embedded job coaching that's working so well with math and other areas of our district, like the letters program and the reading program. So this year, we are requesting that we continue that program. The person that is the initiative director has done 140 coaching sessions this year, walkthroughs and coaching sessions focused on scaffolding and supporting English learners in both our English language development classes as well as embedded in the regular content classes. He utilizes the observation coaching and feedback cycle that we've been trained on to give that job embedded coaching. He spent a lot of time helping develop the English language development elementary pacing guide that goes along with the curriculum that was adopted. He conducts monthly trainings for our L instructional leaders, and then in turn, those leaders go back to the school and train their staff on those principles. And then he's collected and analyzed data to look at our student progress and the effectiveness of our English learner services. So this grant is asking the state to continue funding that position with those priorities in mind. And with that, I stand for any questions that you guys would be interested in.
Any questions?
Yeah,
I think we do a good job with our English learners, so. I'm sure
Thank
this
you.
helps.
All right, thank you for your support.
Thank you. Thank you.
Employee Services, Mr. Strickland.
President Osborne, members of the board, Superintendent Russ. We have the Employee Services Report and Open Positions Report. I just want to say that the hiring season is going along really well. We have some open positions, but we're having fantastic candidates, one of which wanted to come and interview us today to look at the district and see. And the reason that they did is they had seen all the interesting things that we have on social media and the projects that we have going on and wanted to check it out. But I stand for any questions on our current state of hiring.
Interview that you
I think we did okay.
Y'all tried really hard.
Time will tell, I guess.
If there are no
No
questions,
I'm sorry.
that's all right. If there are no questions, I'm going to have Brandon Borio come up and do items C and D, followed by Mr. Pickett for the fine arts application.
President Osborne, Superintendent Russ, members of the board, thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. When I came to you in February, we came and just showed you the original 3 drafts we had for the instructional calendar for next year. We sent that out in a survey to our public, allowed them to give us some feedback. Based on that feedback, Corey, you can stop right there, that'd be perfect. Based on that feedback, we then amended the calendar drafts to meet those needs. But I want to share some of the feedback that we received. And then I also want to walk you through the 3 options that you have to pick for next year's instructional calendar. Before I do any of that, though, I need to thank 2 people. First, I want to thank Zaida Alcala, who's our district interpreter and translator, for doing all the translation of the survey and the calendars. So that way, when they went live, all of our Spanish-speaking families had the same access as everyone else did. That's a huge piece to us, is making sure that all families are included. And so I want to thank her for that. I also want to thank Mrs. Russ. She was key in analyzing and kind of breaking down the data from the survey. And I don't know if you guys know this about her, but she's excellent at breaking down surveys and data. So I really appreciate her help in making sure that that happened. Just some key highlights I want to share with you about that survey. So there was a strong preference for a Monday start rather than a midweek. We've been doing the midweek start for a long time with our kiddos, but a lot of people would rather go ahead and just start on the Monday and have the full week. The advantage to that, the other advantage to that is that actually met a need for kindergarten teachers. They would prefer to start midweek and have a few days to acclimate kindergartners and then come back. And so it actually hit both needs by doing that. The other piece was there was a strong opinion about starting later in August and not having to start in July. So if you recall, the first couple of drafts, we actually had to start teachers on July 31st. And even though it was only a couple days in terms of calendar days, it does make a big difference to not start in July and having to say you're starting in July and then actually getting that 1 extra weekend for the summer. And so we did push all of these drafts back. The other piece was there were some mixed opinions about having a full week off at Thanksgiving. One of the drafts we proposed, we went back to that shortened Thanksgiving break in order to move some days around. But in all of the drafts or in 2 of the drafts we pushed back out, we went ahead and went back to a full week and just moved some extra holidays. So we gave our public the option of a shortened Thanksgiving break or a full Thanksgiving break. The one piece that kind of surprised us all a little bit was the Super Snow Monday. Most people that gave us comments did not think that Super Snow Monday was necessary and didn't really like having it where it was. There was a little bit of mixed feedback about taking an extra day off in May, but I know in talking to leadership, we felt like because Easter is going to be so early next year, that run from there to the end of the school year is pretty long. And so keeping that May 1st holiday will be good for everybody just to have a quick little breath. We can finish the year strong. And then lastly, the last thing I want to point out is just some attendance concerns related to midweek starts and short holiday weeks. And so bearing that in mind, trying to keep our holidays where we're not necessarily chopping up weeks or trying to keep longer chunks of weeks together so that teachers get the instructional time that they need. Corey, if you'll scroll down to where it says important information. Perfect, right there. So just some things I want you to know about the 3 drafts that were put out. All 3 drafts included 173 instructional days, plus the 1 parent-teacher conference day we're allowed to count. So that equals 174 days for students and 183 contract days for teachers. Kindergarten and pre-K will have the delayed start in all 3 drafts. Draft C was the draft with the shortened Thanksgiving break. Drafts D and E were the new drafts that we built based on the survey, and they feature the week-long Thanksgiving. All 3 drafts provide a full 2-week break for Christmas and New Year's. In draft D, we removed Super Snow Monday and the Monday of the spring holiday and shifted those days to Thanksgiving. That's how we got the week-long break. And in draft E, we removed Super Snow Monday and Veterans Day and shifted those days to Thanksgiving. And then, Corey, if you'll go all the way down to the last pie chart. So based on that feedback and that survey, on this survey, these were the final results. So calendar C came back with almost 20% of the vote, calendar D coming in about 35%, and then the overwhelming winner was calendar E with 45% of that vote. We are going to give you all 3 calendars tonight. It is your choice as to which one you pick, but just wanted you to know what the public input was based on the 2 surveys. The last time I was here, Mr. Martin, you asked about state tournaments and how that would affect graduation. So we went back and looked, pulled all that up. Next year, all of the state softball, baseball, and track meets are all scheduled to be held during the week of May 13th through 15th. So if you were to vote on any of our calendars, we could follow the same pattern we did this year, and you could hold graduation on Friday, May 22nd. That would be the last instructional day. It is going to be a shortened day, and so that would allow us to get students out and then hold graduation that night. That's the same process we're following this year. So just wanted to throw that out for you. And then Corey, if you'll go to the next tab. So I just want to walk you back through these drafts very quickly before you vote. We talked about them, but draft C has the shortened Thanksgiving break, but left some of the other holidays like Super Snow Monday and the longer spring holiday in. Draft D removed a couple of those extra days to get us an extra Thanksgiving. In draft D, we removed Super Snow Monday and we shortened the spring holiday. And then in draft E, which was the public winner of the survey, which was the one that we removed Super Snow Monday and removed Veterans Day. One of the things that we did talk about with Veterans Day, especially as an Air Force community, is the fact that if we have school that day, it would give us an opportunity to be very pointed in how we celebrate and honor veterans, and that every school would have an opportunity to put on programs and talk about veterans and really have an opportunity to celebrate with kids on campus that day. So with that being said, I stand for any questions, and this is a consideration item for you to pick which draft you'd like us to move forward with.
Do you guys have any discussions or questions?
You say that E was survey winner?
E was the survey winner, followed by D and then C.
Yeah.
But E held 45% of the vote in the second survey.
I think if that's the one that everybody wants, I think that's what we should do.
I mean, it makes sense. There's nothing on here that I disagree with, so.
Well, I mean, it's obvious.
Is that a motion, Mr. Hamilton?
No, we're in discussion phase. Discussion of a discussion, Martin.
It do make sense.
Any other thing?
Yeah,
Any comments? No.
I would say if that's the, that's why we survey the community to see what's gonna best suit the community, if this is the winner.
And it's a broad survey, right? Staff,
Yeah,
community.
it went live to everybody.
Touched everybody
Yeah,
who was
anybody who saw the social media post or got the email was able to do the survey, so.
And it makes sense. I mean,
Right.
There's
I
nothing
was
in it that I would disagree with.
a little uneasy about shortening the Thanksgiving break, honestly, because we are a
Yes.
military community. If anybody wants to travel, that
Correct.
kind of difficult. I am surprised about the Super Snow Day Monday too.
I think people didn't really understand
Apparently not.
that it was a
They-
placeholder and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so now we'll be making up days, right? If we have a snow day.
We'll see what they figure out with the calendar.
True story. Okay. All right. So
I'll make a motion. Oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
Well, I'll make a motion to to approve the 2025-26 instructional calendar E.
okay.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Cordova, second by Mr. Hamilton, to approve calendar E for the 25-26 school year. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. It's calendar E. Thank you for all that work.
Yeah, thank you for all.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Just making a calendar is a lot. Counting all those hours and days, so
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
It went well. The next steps then will be is that we will get the parent and student, the friendly calendar that we put out every year. We've got that draft already up, so we will have that ready to go in the next day or two. And then Mrs. Nieto and I will be working on getting the official spreadsheet built for the PED to get all the days plugged in and get it all approved. So thank you, board. Thank you, Mrs. Russ.
Okay.
President Osborne, members of the board, Superintendent Russ, tonight I bring to you the FAEA grant application, which is the grant that we use to fund K-6 fine arts. That includes visual arts, theater, music, and some other things. But each year we apply for this grant. Last year we got over 1.4 million for the grant, and we use it for buses to bus students to CCC outreach events, to rehearsals, to other out-of-town events. We also use it to send teachers to trainings and conferences and to pay for hotels and meals and travel and things like that. Music supplies, I mean, I use it to purchase instruments, instrument repair, and you won't believe how many times instruments get repaired throughout the year. Also, we use it to, what else do we use it for? the Arts Academy uses it for their productions they put on at their school. They use it, if you go to their school, they have murals that they have painted in their school, so we use it for that. So the grant is used, we pretty much use it, every penny of it every year, and it is a grant, like I said, we use it every year, which requires your signature. This year I'm doing it 1 month early because last year I had to go find, I think, Mr. Hamilton to sign this grant. I was cutting it short on the deadline, so this year I'm a month ahead.
Well, congratulations for being early.
Being early. Yeah, Mr. Pickett.
And I'm
It's
stand for
easier
any
to run me
questions.
down. I'm slower. Mr. Hamilton.
I stand for any question.
I have none. No, okay.
I don't have any questions.
No question. I think it does find things for our students, so thank you guys for doing the work to get that.
Thank you.
Ms. Nieto, you have a lot of business.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, and Superintendent Russ. This evening, I'm bringing forward a request for your consideration to approve an exception that would allow the use of operational funds for capital project. This request comes in response to the significant increase in supply costs. I stand for any questions.
I read that, and I know that costs are soaring, so
Going to get more
Just like everything else.
we have gentlemen on the board who would understand that better. So. Is there any discussion about that? And they'll let us use our operational funds to.
Once I receive approval from the board and get all the signatures, I'll send it over to Ms. Cordova with New Mexico PED, and hopefully they will approve.
Any other conversation, questions,
No, ma'am.
discussion?
Any questions?
It's an action item, so
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
a motion from Mr. Hamilton, a second from Mr. Cordova to approve the request for use of operational funds for capital projects. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next items, I'm requesting if I could bring both items B and C to be considered together for approval.
Disposal of technology items and vehicle for removal.
In the vehicle, yes. And I
Are there
stand for any
comments?
questions.
No comments.
I don't have any questions.
Okay,
I'll second.
we have a motion from Ms. Egbert, a second from Mr. Hamilton to approve items B and C, disposal of technology items, and consider a vehicle for removal. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next item is the 2025 audit contract for your review and consideration. This will be our final year of our engagement with Carr, Riggs, and Ingram. And I stand for any questions.
They have been outstanding, I feel like.
They have, they're very easy to work with.
We're gonna miss them.
We are.
They are to the point. I appreciate that about them. Any discussion about this item? Hey, it's also a consideration item.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Hamilton, a second by Ms. Egbert to approve the audit contract letter for 25-26. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I now present for your consideration the proposed 2025-2026 salary schedules that currently include Schedule 12, our increment schedule. Due to the budget submission deadline this Friday, the late release of the unit value, and the timing of the governor's signing of key legislation, we are requesting approval only for the primary salary schedules at this time. We would like to bring back Schedule 12 for approval in May after further review. And Mr. Brady will have additional context and details regarding the increment schedule following this presentation. Some key updates to the salary schedule include a 4% salary increase, which was implemented in accordance with House Bill 2. The instructional salaries, we already exceeded the minimum thresholds that were mandated by House Bill 156. So we just did a 4% increase on top of their salaries. And then in alignment with House Bill 195, all school nurses' salaries have been moved to the salary schedule 5, grouping them with the instructional staff. I appreciate your consideration and look forward to your approval of the salary schedules, and I stand for any questions.
Are you talking to us later, Mr. Brady, then?
Yes, he will.
Okay, so we need a motion for the 25-26 salary schedule approval excluding Schedule 12.
Which is the increments.
Yes.
Which is the increments.
Yes. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
A motion by Mr. Hamilton and a second by Mr. Cordova to approve the 25-26 salary schedules excluding Schedule 12. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, and I'll hand it over to Ms. Brady.
President Osborne, members of the board, Superintendent Russ. Schedule 12, the increment schedule, has some hefty amendments to it, and some dialogue needs to be included as we consider moving forward with that schedule. Everything that we're doing brings us into a competitive alignment to our area school districts. What I've handed you is a breakdown on one page of 3 neighboring districts that we compete with for human resources and staffing considerations. And then I have another increment schedule from a district in the far north end of the state. And it gives you an analysis of what they're paying their head coaches, assistant coaches. And then in your board packet, you have the current increment 12 as it stands to show what we pay our increments for our coaches. I'll remind the board of many conversations we've had about what we believe are our big programs in our district, the extras, athletics and music and athletics. And in this scenario, both of those programs will be addressed with our increase in the considerations that are in that salary schedule or in that increment schedule. As we began the conversation, we wanted to talk about length of season, time spent during the year, and then out of the year. So we developed a simple formula to and designation for those programs that go outside of the school year, and we designated them as program developers, okay? And these leaders in these programs are in their regular season as well as all of their off season, and they go into the summer months. And with the initiation of our youth program, an extension of what they do to develop programs would not just be at the high school or middle school, but reach all the way down into our K-6 programs, K-5 youth programs for athletics, as well as our pre-athletics period or offerings that we do in 6th grade. With what we're suggesting in that schedule, we will be competitive with all of the districts that are on the one pager. We looked at Carlsbad, Hobbs, and Artesia. And then Farmington, we exceed what they pay their coaches on that 2-page increment schedule. And so our assistants included in that, we are at or above in most situations, or just a little below. It just depends on the district of how they pay their assistant coaches, but we're very competitive in what we currently pay most of our programs, minus the ones that we want to develop into those program developers, so that we can recruit, retain, and really move the performance of our programs designated in the salary increment to receive those stipend increases. I'd like to say that as they reach, we're looking at how we schedule our K-6 athletic offerings, and they would be opposite of the season of the head coaches that are those program developers, with the expectation that they are working and coordinating with our current youth coordinator, ensuring that in middle school and elementary, that what we want to see transition down from the high school into those developmental programs is seen. And that accountability piece will be with our youth coordinator, who will be taking on some additional responsibility for 7th and 8th grade. When we look at what we offer for summer, Camp Wildcat, Ms. Atkins brought up that we'll be giving camps to kids for our summer youth program. Again, no cost for kids. Within 3 hours of offering, I'll just use basketball. We had almost 200 kids signed up for our camp that we're going to offer for a 4-day week that we have there. But again, our expectation is that our program developers would be there working with our youth and our student athletes as we develop those kids during summer, also in their season, which is opposite of the high school season, working with those kids in those programs and at that time, and then moving into our middle schools and working with our coaches, with our youth coordinator, okay? We do want to be competitive, and we do want to bring that element of vertical alignment. And that's only going to be accomplished by having a figurehead in that program and working with our youth and transitioning them through the program. With that, that's why we're trying to make the move that we are proposing, and I stand for any questions.
I personally think it's a brilliant solution. I mean, we've been working at this a while, and so we're already onto something with what we're doing with elementary. And so in order to stop hemorrhaging our kids, we bring them up and we want them to stay here with us. And so it makes good sense that early on they establish a relationship in some sort of way, or they have at least seen this person who hopefully they're going to see again. So
And thank you for bringing that point up. Having grown up in Clovis, as many of you have, seeing a head coach, and I'll use Coach Pickett, he has been doing this work without compensation.
Right.
And he's been at every sport, every weekend. We want our kids to know our head coaches. Our youth coordinator is developing a relationship with those kids, and we're able to look at and develop kids that need specific development. But looking at middle school, how we can get a new time for practice or designated time that allows our coaches to be there, and then game time so that they can be at those games along with our youth coordinator. Again, it's bringing us back to something that we once had. Like you said, our head coaches used to be at those things, but through scheduling issues and some other things that have complicated their ability to be there, and then having that added influence of what we're doing with our youth in elementary, I think that we can see our numbers thrive. They are thriving, and we are increasing in our numbers. And so I think this is the next logical step.
well, it's a big ask, so I think it deserves compensation.
I just want to echo what you said. I think it's a great thing, and we already asked them to do these things. It might not say it in their job description, but being a coach it's a lifestyle. It's not really a job. And so, it's like being a teacher or anything else.
Ministry, really.
Yes.
Well,
Minister to those.
and it's not just the program. I was remiss in saying this. When you look at our programs that are both in the fall and the spring, we're also elevating those stipends for those people. That would be esports, our head vocal position. And so again, investing in both of those huge programs that we want to support as a community, we're putting our money where our mouth is on that.
Is there any of the stipends that we have in the, like, any of the sports that we're not raising? The stipend?
Yes, there are some of the stipends that they'll remain at their present level. They will not see an increase with what we're proposing.
What would be the reason for that? Like, why would we not raise those and just raise the other one?
Again, when you look at, and I'll use an example for a regular season coach, we call that a 0.45. So their window of time to be operational in a season is about 4 to 5 months in that window right there. Those coaches already they're in the coaching position. I'll use one program. We have a first and a seventh period for that coach. They'll do weight training in the morning with them, and then they'll have seventh period athletics, and they have those periods all year long. So nothing's done out of the day.
Right.
When they get into season, that's where the stipend is there to compensate those coaches that are in that category. And so that's why they receive the stipend. And again, that is very competitive what's in the other districts.
Okay, okay.
Again, we're looking at length of time in the season. So if you're looking at somebody that's a 1, they have fall and spring. Drill and cheer fall into both semesters of school, as well as they don't have as much during the summer, but they do stuff in the summer with those kids. And so it does designate that we need to elevate their compensation somewhat.
And is their job description changing too?
Yes. Those program developers, their job description has changed. I have a planned meeting with those people that we're proposing to review that with them so that they can see what our expectations are and how we want them to be driving those programs all the way down into elementary and influencing those.
Or from an academic perspective, anytime we get kids engaged, we improve their attendance, we improve their relationship with, all of us around them. So, I mean, I think the potential is great.
It is great, and it will open doors for us, like I said, to be able to retain, recruit, and to really recognize the work that they do for our kids.
So what I think I'm hearing is that if it is a developer, it's also tied to the sports that we have in that K-6.
Absolutely.
So there are some sports we don't have in the K-6, so we don't need developers in some areas at this point.
I'll just openly say, okay, so we have tennis. We don't have tennis in elementary.
Right, so we don't
And
need
so-
a program developer.
And that program can only go to 8th grade, and those 8th graders have to be moved up into a JV scenario. Powerlifting's in that vein. Baseball doesn't do anything with elementary. Softball doesn't do anything with elementary. So those are sports that have a regular season, a regular off season, and so
They're not developed. I gotcha. That's my understanding. I just wanted to be sure. Thank you for that explanation. Any
I
other
just-
questions?
Well, I just like that we're being competitive with other
Me too.
districts, so we don't lose coaches to other areas.
and I can tell you that they're recruiting. Those
Mm,
districts are recruiting.
Step away,
That's what we're trying to do.
step away. Others?
No other questions?
No?
Thank
for
you.
that
Thank
discussion.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Ray.
Oh, gosh, I lost my, I'm sorry, I lost my paper. Okay,
I didn't
open
spell it.
forum.
President Osborne, we have one card that would wish to speak on open forum regarding the topic of appreciation. Matt Calhoun.
Good evening, Madam President, board members, Superintendent Russ. I took off the uniform because I want you to know these are my views and not representative DoD or Air Force. Not that they are controversial at all. And also, longtime listener, first time caller. I just wanted to bring to light, I know that these meetings can't get contentious, that people express their viewpoints, and that it's because we all care so much, right? So I'm nervous. It's weird. Excuse me. It's because we all care so much, and to see the community here caring about the kids and the future of Clovis, it's amazing. So I just wanted to come forward and let you know I appreciate you. I know you're taking time out of your days, out of your weeks, for, I believe, no money. You're just doing this because you care, and we see that. So I just wanted to say thank you. I will cede the rest of my time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, that leads us to announcements.
Okay, it's a busy time of year. May 7th, we'll hold our next strategic planning meeting, board work session at noon, right here in the boardroom. We'll serve you lunch just ahead of that. May 8th, our CMS Education Foundation Young Masters Juried Art Show will be going on at the Clovis Community College. May 16th, we'll have lots of our early college high school students graduating at CCC's graduation at the Event Center, 6 p.m. May 17th, we'll have our CMS Foundation Hall of Honor Banquet. You're going to want to make sure you've got tickets for that. That will be at noon at the Clovis Civic Center. Our last day of school will be May 23rd. We will have early release. I know that's hard to hold school and hold graduation, but that's just the way that the calendar had to fall to not come back the week after the long holiday. Graduation will occur that evening at 6 o'clock p.m. at the Curry County Event Center. We'll be back for our next regular Board of Education meeting, 5:30 PM on May 27th. And that's all I have for you in the way of announcements.
Wow, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we'll be lots of places.
Right. Mr. Martin, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Oh, no. I so move.
Is there a second?
A second.
I have a motion from Mr. Cordova, a second from Ms. Egbert. All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.